Hey guys, it's Amazing Chang here. Today I'm taking you guys with me on my first overseas trip ever to Bali, Indonesia. I hope you enjoy my journey as much as I did. Now let's go! I had to get up so early at around 4 a.m. in the morning to go to the airport because my flight leaves at 7:20 in the morning. That's my friend right there. Anyway, we depart from Seminyak International Airport on a Vietjet flight. Once we got through airport security and to our departure gate, it was still dark and there were few people there, so we decided to sleep a little bit. Once the sun came up, we were ready to board the flight. At that point, I was so excited. The flight takes around 4 hours, and I always sleep so soundly on a plane for some reason. So before I knew it, we were already landing. We arrived at Denpasar Airport in Bali at around 11 a.m. At first, we were so overwhelmed and didn't know where to go, but we finally made our way through immigration. Then we waited for our bags before going through customs. There's an area where you can prepare your customs declaration, but we filled in a form online, so we just went straight through customs without any difficulty. Then it was time to get a SIM card, mostly for data.
Oh, thank you.
No. Can I take the payment first?
Payment, okay. How much do you need?
400 please.
400. Okay.
This is only 100.
Okay, and
Yeah.
it's 400, right?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
Give me 4.
Lấy
Lấy rút ra 3 tờ nữa.
It was funny and a little bit embarrassing, to be honest, because we weren't used to the currency yet, but we paid up and got the SIM card onto my phone.
Sorry, can I borrow your phone please?
By the time we got out of the airport, we were so exhausted and ready to leave. We got a grab car for around 200,000 rupiah or $12.50. I didn't like that there were a lot of soliciting and nagging from freelance drivers, but we didn't fall for that. My very first impression of Bali is how people drive on the left, like in the UK, which probably has something to do with the Dutch colonial period. I also love the quaint architecture here, and the weather was hot but pleasant enough for me. We finally arrived at our hotel after around 1.5 hours in the traffic. We booked a room at this hotel called Cove Taverna through Agoda, and while waiting to be checked in, I saw this very interesting talisman or charm something. I don't really know what it is. Anyway, our room was a pool view room with a balcony, which cost a total of around 1.5 million VND or about $60, which I think is a very reasonable price considering the fact that the property was right in the center of the bustling Seminyak area of Bali. Employees here also spoke English very well, and the room was tidy and clean, so I was happy with the service. By the time we got in our room though, we didn't really have time to rest. We had to quickly get ready to leave because it was 2:30 in the afternoon at that point, and we already booked a tour through K-Look, and the driver was picking us up at 3, so we were in a rush to wash up and get changed. I had a little bit of time to check out the bed though while waiting for my friend. And now we're on our way. We booked a tour called Skip the Line, Ketchak, Fire Dance, and Uluwatu Temple Sunset Join-In Tour. The trip from Seminyak to Uluwatu was a tiring 1.5 hour drive, and when we got there, the place was packed with people. We had to put on a sarong and a sash to cover up our bodies before going in. And a little bit about the tour, even though it was a join-in tour, there were only actually 6 of us, including me and my friend, other tourists, and a tour guide. The price for the tour was only 1.5 million Vietnam dong or $60 for 2 people. And the tour covers hotel pickup and drop off, fire dance, and entrance tickets. Before the fire dance, our tour guide showed us around the temple, which is built on the southernmost tip of the island. It is a vast temple with a lot of space for a lot of activities, and there were a lot of monkeys. There's even a whole monkey care center, even though you find that the monkeys here roam freely. Therefore, you'll be warned not to wear anything sparkly or take your valuables out because they will attack and snatch your belongings. Actually, a monkey attempted to approach me and snatch my phone out of my hand, but my friend was able to spot the attempt and to stop it. Other than that, the temple was so gorgeous with beautiful cliffs and is surely the best place for you to take stunning sunset pictures like I did. Then we were given our fire dance tickets and an information leaflet to check out. Everybody gathered around a courtyard at sunset to wait for the fire dance to begin. I don't want to spoil it or ruin it for you guys, so I won't say anything about the dance, but it's definitely a must-have cultural experience, that's for sure. The performance was so impressive, especially when you think about how these people can chant and sing for hours on end. I'd say that, though, the plot was a little bit confusing at times, especially with the language barrier, so reading the leaflet beforehand would definitely help a lot. We spent almost the entire day traveling, so once we got back, we were literally starving. We hopped on the back of a grab bike, and because we stayed in the center of Seminyak, the nightlife was really lively. There were lots of restaurants serving Western food if you don't want to try local dishes yet. We ended up getting Mexican food after a long while of picking different restaurants, and we got Mexican food at a place called Hotel Mexicola. It's like a restaurant plus clubbing concept with fun music and an exciting atmosphere. But I'll say if you're looking for somewhere quiet to call it a night, it's probably not for you. We spent around 650,000 rupiah or $40 on food and drinks. We didn't drink much though. I do notice that the VAT and service fees here in Bali are generally higher than in Vietnam, and particularly higher past 10:30 p.m. at this place. We did get a full meal out of the $40 that we spent, and that's a reasonable price, I think, for a fairly touristy place. The atmosphere was fun, and we had a fun time talking about our eventful day. And I also did get some more cute pictures out of the place too, so I'd rank it a 7 out of 10.
Okay guys, so I'm back to the hotel now. It was a really long day, so I'm really exhausted, and I just went back home after dinner. I just went straight back to the hotel after dinner. I didn't go anywhere else. But I have more stuff planned for tomorrow.
Good morning, guys. I'm well rested and ready to start the day with a brunch at a local Indonesian restaurant called Warung Jambang. They have decent reviews on Google, so we thought we'd give it a try. The place is so cozy and peaceful upon walking in, with outdoor seatings overlooking a very nice and peaceful garden. Even though there is no AC, we still feel pretty okay with the temperature. It's pretty windy and chilly outside, even though it's right at noon. We got some Indonesian rice, some stir-fried prawn veggies, and rice noodles. The food here bears a huge resemblance to Vietnamese Chinese fusion food, even though the seasoning is quite different. I think we paid less than 500,000 Vietnam dong for the drink and the food, which is around $20, and we were satiated and energized for our trip to Ubud. At around 12:50, we booked a Grab car to Ubud for 200,000 rupiah or $13. We arrived at 2:30 after a 1.5 hour drive, and we went straight to our motorbike rental agency called Dharma Putra Bali Scooters Rental. They have accommodating staff, good bikes with a cheap price, but the only setback is that you have to rent for a minimum of 2 days. It was only a day trip for us in Ubud, so we made a deal with them to pay a 2-day fee but return the bike at the end of the day because it still only won 40,000 rupiah for 2 days, which is about $9, and a 30,000 rupiah deposit that they give back to you once you've returned the bike. Our first destination is Suwat waterfall. I have to say that I regretted not booking a hotel in Ubud because it's so beautiful here with the various ancient temples, greenery, and the plumeria flowers everywhere that makes you feel like you're in a tropical paradise. You also notice an obvious drop in temperature once you're in Ubud. We drove 11 kilometers from the bike rental place to get to the waterfall. The entrance ticket was only 40,000 rupiah per person or $2.5. We deliberately chose this spot because we didn't want a place that's crowded with tourists, and this place definitely delivered. From the entrance, you can already hear the water running in the background of a very ambient atmosphere. They did a great job making the area greener and secluded, which brings a sense of serenity. It's a big area, but you won't get lost since there are signs everywhere. And I would say that it's good for a swim and to chill out a little bit, but overall it's just a small waterfall with nothing much to do really. I'd say we weren't really impressed, but it's a good hangout spot surrounded with nature, and if you'd like, they have a small soft drink bar too, serving beverages for a standard price. We then left the waterfall and drove another 15 kilometers to get to a local temple called Gunung Kawi Tembaksering. We paid 50,000 rupiah per person or $3.20 to get in. Hello.
Hello.
2 tickets, please. 100.
Just a moment, please.
Thank you. First, you pass a courtyard with souvenir shops, then you go down the steps. Here you meet the ticket collector who will give you a sarong to wrap around your legs if you wear shorts. And they will also collect your ticket so that you can continue with your walk.
Thank you.
Then it's a downhill walk from there of a few hundred meters with even more souvenir shops on the sides of the path. We didn't really buy anything because nothing caught our attention, so we just looked around. And you can continue with your walk where you'll see a beautiful rice terrace, or you can pay to take a zip line straight down to the temple area, but we didn't do that, so we continue with our walk. On your way down, you will see more rice terrace, and then you will hit the temple complex. The temples have magnificent ancient architecture that resembles that of the Champa Empire. I don't know if there's any sort of relation. Overall, it was a lot of walking to do and not really many fun activities. So I recommend you get a tour guide or else you'd just be wandering around reading obscure writing. We finally rushed ourselves back to the parking lot to make it back to the center of Ubud before dusk. So what we learned here is that you need to make sure you set aside ample time because it's gonna take you at least an hour discovering this complex, and you don't want to leave after sundown because it's scary. The traffic in Bali is also a noticeable problem because the roads are small and there's always traffic, so remember to factor that into your traveling time. Some parts of the roads aren't really well maintained either, with potholes that can get dangerous when you go up or downhill. Regardless, I enjoyed driving in Ubud a lot because I can be out in nature, watch the scenery on the sides of the road with tropical coconut trees or paddy fields. At around 6:30, we arrived at another Indonesian restaurant called Warung Mina Ubud. They have private outdoor seatings that look really nice. 2 people, please. We'll take a look upstairs. But then there were so many mosquitoes, they ended up giving us mosquito repellent cream. And the food here is again very similar to Vietnamese food. We ended up ordering fried fish and soups. I think this place would be suitable for families or couples. The food with the price were okay, but I'd say the portions are a little bit small, and honestly, a 15% VAT is high for me. After dinner, we dropped off the bike and got our deposit back. The bike rental is located on a busy street, so we walked down to find a spa and settled with Real Spa. We paid 70k for a hair wash and 80k for a back massage, totaling 300,000 for rupiah for 2 people, or around $20, and we tipped them a bit. The massage was okay, it was decent, even though my friend didn't like it. But then the hair wash wasn't really relaxing because we had to sit on a reclining chair. After that, we hopped on a grab car back to Seminyak. We didn't want to call it a night yet, so we headed to Shooters Bali to play their mini golf and other fun games like axe throwing, ping pong, or Jenga, even though the price was pretty high. We had to pay 20,000 rupiah or $1.20 to buy a token that gets you one try at the punch machine, so that obviously wasn't enough for us to let out our fury.
Chơi mà đá. Nhà rồi. Gà.
We then went back to our hotel. According to plan, we would have got up at 9 to go to the airport, but we overslept and missed our flight. So we spent an extra night in Bali exploring Jimbaran Beach. But that's pretty much it for my 2-day Bali trip, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you'd like to know how I resolved missing my flight, stay tuned for the next video. Thank you for watching, and bye-bye!